and I blacked out.
Oh my God! Oh
no! The ditching was very rough. The aircraft broke apart into 3 pieces.
The cockpit broke off and the tail end broke off, so we started to go down. There was water gushing in on both sides.
Passengers who survived the initial impact struggle to escape from the shattered wreckage. As water pours in, people who've already inflated their life jackets become trapped. The water pushes them towards the ceiling of the plane.
In that kind of panic, people do all sorts of things that maybe are not rational.
The life jackets make it very difficult to swim underwater. Many passengers can't escape the sinking cabin.
The aircraft was full of water. I have no fear of water, having done competitive swimming in school. And I went for my seatbelt, and I couldn't find it buckled. So I moved my hand down to my knee and found it, pulled it open, and I pushed out. And I looked at the back of the aircraft. I could see some light at the end, and I decided to swim out in that direction. As I swam out, one of the passengers trying to get out of the seat grabbed my leg. And I said to myself, oh my God, this can cause me to drown. But I decided not to fight back. And they pulled themselves out and let go of my leg. And then I continued to swim out to the back of the aircraft and swam to the surface. I was really exhausted. I felt very tired. And I looked up and said, okay, could this be heaven? Because I wasn't really sure whether I was alive or dead.
I was trying to tell the co-pilot to get out. Then he was not there. Then I said, okay, then it's about time for me to go out.
I woke up, was floating in the water, and I went, hey, I'm alive. I looked for my wife who'd been sitting on my right, and she was gone. My heart sank. And I looked to my left, and she was now on my left. She had swirled around and swapped. We were out floating in the ocean. You can see what looks like an uninhabited cliff. It might be a tropical island. It's like a movie, you know.
When I leveled out and looked at sea level, I saw all these boats, these tourist boats, beautiful sails and all that, and I said, I must still be on Earth. When I looked around me, I could see all these people, life jackets and bits and pieces of debris, broken seats, floating bodies. As I swam towards the beach, I saw this passport, which was a Kenyan passport. And I stopped and opened the passport, and believe it or not, it was mine. So I took the passport and folded it and put it in my pocket and continued to swim.
Odenyo makes his way to a floating pallet of cargo that's burst loose from the plane. He pulls himself on top and waits for rescue. The plane was destroyed, ripped into several pieces.
I saw things scattered around me, the tail of the airplane far away from me. I never expected something like would happen. All I was expecting was to evacuate the passengers safely and myself.
Abate swims to safety, but he has no idea how successful he's been. He doesn't know whether any of his passengers have survived or what's happened to the hijackers. After a 4-hour struggle with hijackers, Captain Leul Abate crash lands his passenger jet in the Indian Ocean near the Comoros Islands.
Oh my God!
His plane is shattered, but his skill may have saved the lives of many on board. For those who survived the crash, Abate's decision to ditch the plane near the shore means that although the airliner breaks into pieces, it doesn't sink very far.
Fortunately, the water was very shallow. In some cases, people were able to get out.
Locals and tourists swarm out to the downed aircraft. A group of scuba divers, who narrowly missed being hit by the aircraft, help with the rescue effort. In an amazing stroke of good luck, some French doctors are staying at the resort. They offer immediate medical assistance. In the end, of the 175 people on board the plane, 50 survive. Without the actions of Abate, many more could have died. Without power and unable to use his flaps, Captain Abate lands at 370 kilometers per hour, over 100 kilometers per hour above the normal landing speed of a 767.
Once the captain made the decision that he had to ditch, the best thing that he could do was keep the airplane as close to land as possible.
Abate also tried to make the landing as smooth as possible. At the last moment, he turned the jet, hoping to land parallel to the waves instead of crashing into them. As soon as the plane hit the water, it was ripped out of Abate's control.
The airplane touched down left wing low, so the left wing actually grabbed the water.
The 767's massive, low-slung engine dug into the water, spinning the plane around.
The airplane would have wanted to turn around that left wing or cartwheel. That's a lot of energy to dissipate very quickly. That's what caused the breakup sequence. The airplane broke up into 4 or 5 pieces, and that's what caused a lot of the fatalities.
Panic may also have contributed to the number of deaths. Disregarding Abate's instructions, many passengers inflated their life jackets.
The life vest wants to keep you buoyant or try to drive you straight up, and that could hamper and restrict your ability to get out of your seat. In some cases, people were still strapped in their seat when the airplane sank, and they unfortunately drowned.
Mo Amin, who had tried to rally the passengers against the hijackers, was standing up when the plane crashed. He was probably thrown against a bulkhead when the plane crashed, dying instantly.
Mo had survived everything. He had more than 9 lives. And the idea that he should just be on an ordinary standard flight, when the kind of news story that he wasn't aware of, hadn't been assigned to, caught up with him, and to be killed in this way, has a kind of horrid irony about it.
The hijackers, who refused to sit for the landing, also died in the crash. In the days after the disaster, other pieces of the puzzle became clearer. Despite claims by the hijackers that there were 11 of them, in fact, there were only 3. But who were these desperate men, and what were their motives?
They were imprisoned, thrown in jail, persecuted and tortured by the government. They didn't specify which government, at least to the best of my understanding, and that they had escaped from jail and that they were going to make history.
They said they have friends in Australia and they want to get united with them. They wanted to go into a second country where they get the refugee status and have a better living.
Before 9/11, it was remarkably easy for hijackers to gain access to pilots.
If you don't do what we say, we'll blow this plane out of the sky.
Despite numerous hijackings over the previous 2 decades, most airlines made no attempt to secure the cockpit.
Do you want to die? We're gonna die anyway, so shall we kill you?
The hijackers of Flight 961 were never linked to any terrorist group or political organization. Whatever their reasons, their crime demonstrated the great danger posed by a hijacker who places no value on his own life.
We will die together.
For years, there were people in security saying we have to strengthen that cockpit door. We have to be able to exclude anyone from coming through that door and getting control of that aircraft, whatever the reason. Whether the airlines didn't want to spend the money, they didn't see it as a threat. It didn't happen. After 9/11, every aircraft now has done that carries passengers, that has that capability of being hijacked.
Nothing is inevitable. Nobody is immune to anything. It could be 1 in a million, but it can happen.
Both Captain Leul Abate and his co-pilot, Jonas Mercuria, received